elementary school class took a field trip to the circus, and they were invited backstage to meet the performers. Naturally, the class was particularly fascinated with the lion tamer and had some questions for the man who single-handedly keeps some of nature's greatest predators under his control night in and night out. "How do you keep the lions from attacking you?" the lion tamer was asked by a student. He replied, "Most lion tamers use two tools to tame the fierce companions prowling around the cage: a whip and a stool." He then asked the class this question: "Which of the two tools do you think is the most valuable to the tamer?" The students answered nearly in unison, "The whip." "No," the lion tamer replied. "The most valuable tool that a lion tamer has is a four-legged stool." He went on to explain, "A lion can easily overpower a person. However, it's only easy for the lion to do so if it can focus on the single object of that person." The lion tamer uses the stool to distract the lion, who, when faced with the legs of the stool, tries to focus on all four at once. Distracted, it is then unable to focus, and it stands frozen, and the lion tamer typically remains relatively safe behind the stool. I wonder how often our focus mirrors that of the circus lion. I think if we were honest, we would have to admit that there are times when our potential for greatness is frozen by distractions. The truth of the matter is, you are bigger than your shortcomings. You're stronger than your weaknesses, and your abilities are greater than your limitations. Oftentimes, your enemy knows that he cannot destroy you, and so he settles for distracting you. I can think of no more distracted leader than King Saul in the Old Testament. If there was anyone who had the potential for unparalleled greatness, it was King Saul. Saul's downfall was not his inabilities, it wasn't his weaknesses or even his shortcomings. Rather, it was his inability to overcome distractions. The final straw in the downfall of Saul's reign is found in 1 Samuel 18, verses 5 through 9. Whatever mission Saul sent him on, the Bible says, David was so successful that Saul gave him a high rank in the army. This pleased all the troops and Saul's officers as well. When the men were returning home after David had killed the Philistine, the women came out from all the towns of Israel to meet King Saul with singing and dancing, with joyful songs and with timbrels and lutes. As they danced, the Bible says they sang this song: "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." Saul was very angry. This refrain displeased him greatly. "They have credited David with tens of thousands," he thought to himself, "but me they have only credited with thousands. What more can he get but the kingdom?" Verse 9 continues and says that from that time on, Saul kept his eyes on David. From that time on, Saul kept his eyes on David. Saul became distracted and took his eyes off of what they were supposed to be on. Saul was distracted, and it was this distraction that ultimately led to Saul's destruction. Saul compared himself to David, and comparison brought confusion to his purpose and calling. This is why in the New Testament, Paul tells us it is not wise to compare ourselves. In equestrian racing, the racehorse trainers will put blinders on the horses. The trainers believe that those blinders keep the horses focused on what is in front of him, encouraging the horse to pay attention to the race rather than to the distractions around him. This must be what Solomon was writing about in Proverbs chapter number 4, when he said, "Let thine eyes look straight on. Let thy eyelids look right straight before thee. Ponder the path of your own feet, and let all of your ways be established. Look neither to the right nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil." One paraphrase says it this way: "Leave evil in the dust." We must learn to stop being distracted by things that have nothing to do with our goals. Your life is too valuable and too short to waste it being distracted.